when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle.
Share a little bit about your journey and when you were diagnosed and what treatment looked like for you.
Okay. My first cancer was diagnosed in September of 2011. It was what's called HER2 positive, and it was stage 2. I had actually found a lump in my armpit, and I'd had a cold, so I just kind of thought that maybe that's what the issue was, but did go in and see the doctor about it, and they did a biopsy on it, and it turned out to be cancer. And they originally thought it might be lymphoma, and then they did the mammogram, and they couldn't see it on the mammogram, so they had to do a ultrasound, and because it was quite deep. And the treatment with this is very successful, but it's very long. And so it was surgery, 6 rounds of chemo, and then a drug called Herceptin that they do 17 rounds. And it's very short, like it's probably 40 minutes. But I had to go home from here every 3 weeks for the treatment. And then it's really hard on your heart, so you also had to have what they call as a mugga scan. And so they shoot a isotope into your arm so they can see how the heart is functioning. And kind of a funny story, I don't know, is that I was flying back to Calgary, or flying back to Scottsdale, and I was having the mugga scan, and they were running late, and I'm going, gosh, I'm going to miss my flight. And so I finally went up and told them, and they said, oh my goodness, if you were flying today, you've got to have paperwork because you're radioactive. So I take my paperwork, and I don't think anything about it except that I thought it was when you get to security that it's a problem. It's actually at US Customs. So I didn't say anything. And I walked through, and suddenly all these beepers are going off. Everybody, the radioactive beepers. And the poor guy behind me is the one they pull over. And then suddenly they're going, ma'am. We get hauled into this room, and the poor guy, they take our luggage away, and and I'm going, I'm the one, it's me, I've got this paperwork, and they're scanning us both. It was just goofy. Anyway, so that was kind of a little bit of humor added to all of it. So, and then after that, I had 20 rounds of radiation. And then you're on like tamoxifen for 5 years. Unfortunately, through some of that, I had a port because of the 17 rounds. And I did get an infection and ended up in the hospital here for 5 days. So they had to remove the port, and then I had to go home. And then the second thing is with tamoxifen, I got a blood clot in my legs. So I had to do blood thinners for a year. So yeah, it was just, but just great people. All the people that came to chemo with me, we laughed, and we felt we could take our show on the road almost. It was, we were just in there just enjoying each other's company, and they just kept me relaxed. And one of the gals made a scarf while she was sitting there, and, brought in all sorts of food, and it was really. And then, of course, Del, the husband or your significant other is the most important part of your journey. And I always do ask, other people, the caregivers, make sure you're taking care of yourself, because it's really important, because you can kind of get forgotten in the whole journey, and you can get exhausted or emotional, or just so many things that can really affect them too, because they're worried about their partner. So yeah.
Well, so now you play golf. You and I play golf together.
Yep.
And I know you do pickleball and you just try to be as active as you can. How does playing golf and physical activity play a role in your healing or your recovery?
Oh, I think the physical activity is really important. As a matter of fact, the cancer unit has classes that they run, and it's other people with breast cancer, and they're trying to make sure that you're really as active as you can possibly be. And if you talk to anybody, fatigue is probably one of the biggest ones. They also did some testing of your physical fitness and things like that, which was really interesting. It was really interesting to be part of that study. And, obviously I was 15 years younger, so a little fitter or more fit. And so anyway, it does make a huge difference. Now, I didn't golf much that year, but I did hike and walk, work out some, swim, things like that. We just didn't belong to a golf course because, I was traveling so much. And so that was sort of the one area that I didn't do. But you look at somebody like Judy that's, out there and just doing all the things that she's doing. So.
I was sure by now, God, you would have reached down.
How did golf help you, or physical activity in general, play a role in your healing or recovery process?
Well, I can't say that I am this amazing athlete. I'm not. But I do have fun in everything I do. So golf for me has been, I joke about it and I say, 4 hours on the golf course and 4 hours in the bar. I mean, to me, it's part of my life. Golf is a big part of my life. So coming back to it, getting back to it, that made me feel good. I'm also a big hiker. So I think, being active has really, really helped my recovery and my state of mind about how I feel.
Yep. Absolutely. I totally get it, because that's one of the biggest things when people have cancer is to be as active as you physically can.
Right.
And again, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but just do something even when you really don't feel like it. Try to muster up something.
The other thing about golfing is it's very, very, very social. You are involved with a lot of people, and you hear about a lot of people. And this person got breast cancer, and this person, a lot of so that kind of brought me closer to community and closer to people.
Was there a piece of advice, support, or encouragement you received during your journey that really stuck with you?
Oh my heavens. I was diagnosed the year after Sue McDonough had her surgery. And, she was a flatty, and I'd never met a flatty before. And when I saw what she went through and how committed she was to changing your life, that was a big deal for me. She really gave me a lot of encouragement. And I think, there's a sisterhood that you become a part of. You become a member of a group that you feel so honored with, but you don't want anybody to join.
Right.
I've gotta keep the calm before the storm. I don't want less, I don't want more. Must bar the windows and the doors to keep me safe, to keep me warm. Yeah, my life is what I'm fighting.
Tell us a little bit about your journey, when you were diagnosed, and what treatment looked like for you.
Okay. I was diagnosed when I was not quite 50, so I was still 49. I was caught early. I was lucky. My treatment after my lumpectomy, my treatment was going to be radiation and then tamoxifen therapy for at least 5 years. I also had options back then. Remember, that's like 16 years ago, just about 16 years ago. So at that time, the doctor that I had also suggested that maybe because I have had 10 years of issues with things being wrong with my breasts all the time. So I said, well, how about we will give you the option of also doing a mastectomy on the left side where I was affected with the breast cancer. So we started thinking about it, Joe and I did, because to me it was not only was it my decision, but it was also his decision to what he felt most comfortable with for my health and safety and the future of us together and everything else. So we had time to think about it, a couple weeks, and I had decided, well, if I was going to do a mastectomy on the left side, why not do a bilateral mastectomy?
Okay.
Just make everything uniform and things like that. So that's what I did, is I did a bilateral mastectomy. And then eventually, like once you heal, 3 months later, I did reconstructive surgery. And
Okay.
yeah, so that was my journey and diagnosis through the treatment of breast cancer.
So with that, when going for the double mastectomy, was there issues that potentially you could not have reconstructive surgery, or was that like for sure you'd be able to? Big decision.
The decision, yeah, yes. So what they do, there is a difference between what other people have when they take everything out, like every muscle and things like that. So you would never, ever have to worry again. With me, because I've said that my option of having reconstructive surgery, I think they don't touch the pectoralis muscle as much because they insert the implants behind the pectoralis muscle.
Okay.
So, so for me, I made that decision. And also my decision was because too, I was so tired of having mammograms every 3 months, followed up by ultrasounds and then biopsies and things. I thought, okay, my doctor had said that, Cheryl, if you do those mastectomies, then you probably will never have to have another mammogram again. I'm like, okay, sold, I'm in. I'm so in.
Was there a piece of advice, support, or encouragement you received during your journey that really stuck with you?
I think in the beginning, I kept it just like family who knew. I didn't really go outside of that. I didn't say, hey, I had breast cancer and I did this and I did that. I didn't really do that. We kind of kept it private with just the family. And then I had this friend who also had gone through breast cancer, and she had said, Cheryl, you need to wear that as a badge of honor instead of keeping so quiet about it. I'm like, okay. So I put myself out there a little bit, and I started doing walkathons to raise money for, breast cancer awareness. Or at that time, I was part of this organization called Why Me, and it was a support group out of, I think it was a nationwide support group, if I remember correctly, who, when women had difficulty trying to understand it all, or whatever, you could call this hotline and they would help you through it, or just some emotional support. But and then we, moved out here and things became a little bit different, and now it's a much bigger pool that I help and volunteer from. So,
which is awesome. The ladies at Tatum Ranch, holy cow, you guys are spectacular.
And it really, and I have to say, in a journey, even though after about 5 years, 6 years, I always say you're kind of kicked to the curb with your medical. If everything checks out okay, you're like, they deem you cancer free, and they're not really worried about you having a reoccurrence or anything. And I always say that it's a lifelong thing. At least for me it is. And helping out other people and raising money for awareness and other people who have to go through this journey too. I think it just helps. I think it has helped me, and I just think it helps. You know.
Wake up, the sun cannot wait for long. Reach out before it fades away. You will find a warmth when you surrender. Smile into.
Get your mammograms. Get your mammograms. And if you do have a friend or an acquaintance that does get breast cancer, be there as a friend, support them, because this is a community. We cannot do it by ourselves.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong